In Hollywood, there's a special category of male stars who exist in that delicious gray area between queer-coded and queer icon. They've never put a label on themselves, and honestly, they don't need to. Their style, roles, interviews, and sheer attitude blur the lines of masculinity and queerness, whether intentional or not. From playing fluid characters to embracing androgynous fashion, these men keep fans guessing, swooning, and speculating. In this episode of Rainbow Spotlight, we're diving into 5 celebrities who master the art of ambiguity. They flirt with the boundaries of identity and attraction without giving a definitive answer, and that's exactly why the internet can't stop talking about them. Whether it's Robert Pattinson's indie weirdness or Jared Leto's glam rock flair, these stars are walking question marks, and we love every second of it. Let's get into it. Matty Healy, the unapologetic prince of alt-rock ambiguity. Matty Healy walks the line between mystery and vulnerability like few others in modern music. As the lead singer of the 1975, he has turned emotional rawness and aesthetic fluidity into an art form, both lyrically and visually. With his tousled curls, oversized blazers, chipped nail polish, and cigarette-in-hand stage presence, Matty embodies a kind of romantic chaos that feels both carefully curated and completely spontaneous. Throughout his career, Matty has refused to fit into any one box, musically, emotionally, or sexually. While he's never publicly identified as LGBTQ+, the way he plays with gender presentation and romantic themes often leaves fans wondering. On stage, it's not uncommon for him to kiss male fans or share intimate moments with bandmates. In interviews, he's flirted with ambiguity, dismissing rigid labels and leaving the door wide open for interpretation. Part of Matty's appeal lies in this very lack of definition. He sings about longing, isolation, desire, and existential crisis with a sincerity that transcends gendered storytelling. Songs like Love It If We Made It and If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know balance social commentary with sensual vulnerability. In his world, attraction isn't necessarily about labels. It's about connection, experience, and feeling alive. Fashion-wise, Matty leans into an aesthetic that's part 90s Britpop rebel, part vintage romantic. Silk shirts hang loosely off tattooed shoulders, pearls, eyeliner, and chipped black nail polish often accompany him on stage. And whether he's strumming a guitar in front of thousands or chain-smoking on a rooftop somewhere in London, he exudes a magnetic carelessness that makes people stare a little longer than they should. Matty's interviews are another layer of his enigma. He's been open about his struggles with addiction and mental health, but when it comes to questions about sexuality, he often answers with a smile and a shrug, or with philosophical monologues about love and human connection that don't really offer any straight answers. And that's exactly the point. To his fans, regardless of their own identity, Matty Healy represents freedom. Freedom to feel messy. Freedom to romanticize heartbreak. Freedom to explore attraction without labels. In an era that often demands definitive answers, he offers soft rebellion through ambiguity. Whether he's crooning about late-night hookups, politics, or self-loathing, Matty keeps people guessing. Not because he's hiding, but because, for him, the gray areas of life are where all the interesting stories happen. He doesn't need to come out. He doesn't need to define himself. The mystery is part of the music, part of the allure. And part of why, for many, Matty Healy will always be an unintentional queer icon, even if he never says the words out loud. Leandro Lima, the Brazilian charmer who redefines masculinity. Leandro Lima has that kind of effortless charm that doesn't just enter a room, it owns it. Born in João Pessoa, Brazil, and blessed with striking features and a body built by both genetics and dedication, Leandro's presence in the fashion and entertainment industry feels like a quiet storm. He doesn't have to shout to get noticed. His gaze, his smile, and the way he carries himself say more than words ever could. Starting his career as a model, Leandro quickly became a fixture on international runways. From Milan to Paris, he strutted for top designers like Jean-Paul Gaultier and Dolce & Gabbana, leaving audiences and photographers equally captivated. His tall, lean frame, combined with that sun-kissed skin and naturally tousled hair, made him an editorial favorite for magazines like GQ and Vogue Homes. But Leandro isn't just a pretty face in a sea of models. His transition into acting proved he had more than one layer to offer. Brazilian TV viewers might recognize him from telenovelas where he played complex, often emotionally layered characters. His ability to convey vulnerability and strength at the same time made him stand out in an industry known for typecasting. What sets Leandro apart, beyond the looks and the talent, is the kind of masculinity he projects. It's soft without being fragile, sensual without being overproduced, comfortable without being lazy. Whether he's rocking a tailored suit on the red carpet or casually posting behind-the-scenes gym selfies on Instagram, he radiates a kind of modern male energy that blurs the traditional lines between masculine and feminine. Fans around the world have often speculated about Leandro's personal life, especially considering how naturally he leans into queer-coded fashion and roles. From sheer shirts to bold accessories and even playful captions online, Leandro knows exactly how to keep people guessing, without ever feeling forced or performative. Interviews with him are often light, fun, and flirtatiously evasive whenever questions about relationships or dating come up. It's a dance, and Leandro is good at it. The beauty of Leandro Lima's appeal is in the mystery. He doesn't label himself, and he doesn't owe anyone an explanation. His social media presence is a curated blend of fitness, travel, behind-the-scenes shoots, and occasional glimpses of everyday moments. There's authenticity in how little he tries to explain or define who he is. In a media landscape where labels often overshadow talent, Leandro's choice to live in that delicious space of ambiguity only adds to his allure. He's part of a new generation of men who understand that masculinity isn't about boxes. It's about presence, about confidence, and about knowing when to leave something unsaid. From São Paulo catwalks to global fashion covers and television screens, Leandro Lima continues to redefine what it means to be a modern heartthrob. And honestly, the world isn't complaining. Manu Ríos, the digital heartthrob, with an irresistible aura. For Manu Ríos, fame didn't arrive overnight. It built itself slowly, like waves pulling at the shore, reshaping everything in its path. Born in Spain and nurtured under the Mediterranean sun, Manu grew from a YouTube cover singer to an international sensation with millions watching his every move. His striking bone structure, olive skin, and tousled dark hair became a visual signature across Instagram and fashion campaigns. But there was always something more than just surface-level charm. There was a softness behind his gaze, a vulnerability that drew people in. By the time he joined Netflix's global hit, Elite, Manu had already mastered the digital game. His online followers weren't just numbers, they were a community. They dissected every photo, every lyric he sang, every behind-the-scenes video he shared, and with each new post, the speculation grew. Was Manu just another pretty face? Or was there more to his story? Manu never felt the need to clarify. His refusal to label himself made him even more magnetic. Whether it was lounging shirtless in soft morning light for a photo shoot, walking hand-in-hand with close friends, or showing up at LGBTQ+ events in sheer blouses and pearl necklaces, Manu blurred every line. Masculinity, femininity, friend, lover, it all existed in a fluid spectrum for him. Fashion brands picked up on that fluid energy fast. Prada, Balmain, Fendi, they all wanted a piece of Manu's ethereal yet undeniably masculine presence. On the runway or off-duty, his style played with textures: silk, leather, mesh. One day, he'd appear in an oversized suit with combat boots. The next, in crop tops and delicate jewelry that highlighted his collarbones. But it wasn't just about looks. Manu's online persona radiated warmth and inclusivity. He used his platform to support LGBTQ+ causes, post about pride events, and celebrate queerness in all its forms. Yet, when interviewers leaned in with personal questions about love, about identity, Manu always smiled, always deflected. It wasn't about hiding. It was about keeping some things sacred. That ambiguity only fueled his fandom. Edits of Manu set to soft indie tracks filled TikTok. Tumblr pages still thrive with grainy black and white gifs of him laughing or adjusting his hair. Even major publications started crafting headlines like, "Is Manu Ríos the next queer icon of Gen Z?" And maybe he is. Manu represents a new wave of celebrity, where sexual fluidity isn't a scandal, and choosing not to label oneself becomes a statement of its own. His beauty is obvious, his talent undeniable. But it's that untouchable softness, that mix of vulnerability and quiet rebellion, that keeps everyone watching, wondering, and wanting more. In the world of social media-driven stardom, Manu Ríos has done the impossible. He's remained both visible and elusive, and for many, that makes him all the more irresistible. Luke Hemmings, the indie rock star who plays by his own unwritten rules of attraction. Luke Hemmings, frontman of the wildly popular band 5 Seconds of Summer, is the kind of name that stops an entire generation of fans in their tracks. Towering height? Check. Messy blonde hair? Check. Piercing blue eyes that feel like they're staring straight through you? Double check. Luke's got that rare kind of charm, equal parts cool, distant, and just inviting enough to keep you guessing. From the early days when 5SOS first exploded out of YouTube obscurity, Luke quickly became more than just a lead singer. He became an icon. The poster boy for countless fans, guys, girls, and everyone in between, thanks to that perfect mix of bad boy aesthetic and soft, almost vulnerable energy. Every candid photo, every behind-the-scenes clip, even a split-second glance in a music video leaves people wondering, is he trying to say something, or am I just imagining it? When it comes to his personal life or sexuality, Luke's always played it close to the chest. He's never explicitly defined himself, choosing silence over speculation every time the media pokes and prods. And honestly, that only fuels the fan theories more. Sharp-eyed followers have clocked their fair share of moments, lingering touches on stage, knowing glances exchanged with bandmates, or off-duty outfits with just the right amount of unisex edge. In recent years, as the world has embraced softer masculinity, Luke seems right at home. Sheer shirts? Sure. Layered silver rings and dainty necklaces? Absolutely. Subtle eyeliner for a photo shoot? Why not? Naturally, this has landed him a permanent spot on countless LGBTQ+ fan lists under the category of unconfirmed queer icons we love to speculate about. His music only adds to the mystique. Luke's self-written ballads are often steeped in melancholy, his vocals low and haunting like an open-ended confession. The line between the on-stage Luke and the off-stage Luke blurs more with every release, making fans wonder how much of the heartbreak is real and how much is just really good songwriting. Even after getting engaged to Sierra Deaton, the fan theories haven't slowed down. If anything, they've evolved. For many, Luke Hemmings is part of a new wave of artists who refuse to let anyone label them. He lives, he sings, he feels, and lets the rest of the world draw their own conclusions. At almost 30, Luke remains an undeniable force in pop culture. Maybe it's the ambiguity. Maybe it's the slow burn charm. Either way, one thing's for sure. Luke Hemmings isn't done keeping us intrigued. Ramy Malek, the mystery behind the eyes. There's something undeniably magnetic about Ramy Malek. From the moment he stepped onto the screen, audiences were drawn to his sharp cheekbones, deep-set eyes, and that low, almost secretive voice. Ramy doesn't just play characters, he embodies them, bringing layers of vulnerability and quiet power that keep viewers guessing. Born to Egyptian immigrant parents, Ramy grew up in Los Angeles, constantly balancing his cultural roots with his Hollywood ambitions. Even before mainstream fame, there was an alluring contrast about him. Introverted yet intense, soft-spoken yet impossible to ignore. It wasn't long before casting directors noticed this energy and began giving him roles that demanded complexity. His breakout moment came with the psychological thriller series, Mr. Robot. As Elliot Alderson, a mentally unstable hacker with fractured emotions, Ramy delivered a performance that was both haunting and oddly intimate. Viewers felt like they weren't just watching Elliot, they were inside his head, experiencing every flicker of doubt and every buried desire. This role didn't just win Ramy critical acclaim, it made him a new kind of sex symbol, one that didn't rely on loud bravado or traditional masculinity. Then came Bohemian Rhapsody. Taking on the role of Freddie Mercury was a career-defining moment. Playing a queer icon brought Ramy into a different conversation, one about fluidity, representation, and the blurred lines between actor and character. On screen, his portrayal was electric, flamboyant but deeply human, bold but heartbreakingly lonely at times. Off-screen, fans and media alike started speculating. There were questions about Ramy's own identity, his private life, and whether his connection to LGBTQ+ themes went beyond the roles he played. True to form, Ramy didn't offer clarity. He never confirmed, never denied. He just smiled in interviews, letting the mystery grow. What makes Ramy's public persona even more intriguing is how he navigates intimacy in the spotlight. His chemistry with co-stars, regardless of gender, always feels charged but never forced. There's a softness in the way he speaks about love, connection, and understanding others. Even his red carpet moments feel like quiet statements. The fitted suits, the subtle accessories, the gaze that lingers just a second longer than expected. His dating history, though reportedly involving women, has never been loud or tabloid-driven. Instead, Ramy maintains a level of privacy that only adds fuel to fan theories. Tumblr threads, Twitter stands, and Reddit discussions all share one thing in common: fascination with the ambiguity. Fans don't need a label from him. They're content watching, interpreting, and rewatching every interview for double meanings. And honestly, that's part of the magic. Ramy Malek doesn't have to answer every question. Sometimes, the mystery says more than any statement ever could. And there you have it. 5 stars who've blurred the lines between queer-coded charm and full-on queer icon status. Whether through their fashion, their roles, their interviews, or just the way they carry themselves, each of these men has played with ambiguity and owned it. In a world that still loves to put people in boxes, they've shown that attraction, identity, and expression don't always come with a label. And honestly, that's part of what makes them unforgettable. If you love these deep dives into identity, pop culture, and LGBTQ+ moments in entertainment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who should we spotlight next? Stay tuned. More to come soon on Rainbow Spotlight.